Hi, my name is Alvin Agent. Thanks for watching APTV. Today I have the privilege of talking to Peter Armstrong, the CEO of Invest Melbourne. Invest Melbourne does a lot of things, but what they do well is they help retailers and small businesses do business and direct them and assist them in ways that I don't think is well communicated. Hopefully out of this interview, you'll be able to learn what resources and advice and direction the City of Melbourne is giving businesses to come in here and invest. Thank you, Peter, very much for coming on.
And if there's always a present, this is for you. That's all our collateral, what we actually do.
Yeah, good.
Cheers, good man. Thanks.
You had a very impressive career, both in the public-private sector, now particularly highlighting Colps.
Yep.
Now you're the CEO of Invest Melbourne. How have your experiences helped you in this current role?
Look, it's a good question. I mean, most of my career is in the private sector, so where it helps with Invest Melbourne is that very quickly I can triage and work out the potential investment opportunity. Is there real legs in life? To be honest, there's a lot of tire kickers that come to government. You know, I've got this great idea. Can you give me $2 million? We're not a venture capitalist. So I think that's one of the key benefits. Equally, with the team, which are mostly public sector rackers, I'm in the process of giving back and help educating them around real operational issues, managing a P&L, balance sheet, cash flow. And, you know, so I'm coming from an experienced background. Here, it's my thoughts.
Oh, great. And in one sentence, what is Invest Melbourne?
Well, Invest Melbourne is an investment promotion agency. It's our role to assist businesses grow and come into the state, then come into the city. We investment promotion agencies all offer the same 6 services. Service 1, assistance with market entry, business case validation. 2, introductions and access to contacts, like your clients, suppliers, advisors. 3, confidential location search. So, for example, if you're a medtech company, we'd say you've got to be in Harktown. You don't need to be down St Kilda Road. 4, we facilitate cross-government approvals. That doesn't mean we guarantee them, but let's say you've got an issue with Melbourne Water or with Heritage Victoria, we can have a discussion with them. 5, we project case manage. And 6, and this is where one starts, access to government financial support, so grant program.
Right.
And so we work very closely with our colleagues in Invest Victoria at the state level on accessing, there is significant amounts of money available to attract businesses to money.
Right.
And now we're all about new jobs, maybe CapEx, meaningful CapEx, or headquarters. So give you an example, we saw Alibaba as a marquee business that we wanted here in Melbourne as they're having their Australian, New Zealand head office here. So we chased after them and gave them a win for them.
Your office chased them, facilitated all the contacts, connections,
yes,
and options, and made it easier for them to choose Melbourne.
Correct. And when I was running Invest Victoria, whilst I've been doing with Invest Melbourne, we are working with groups across the road on needed some assistance in their planning process, some new market entrants. There'll be some announcements soon around an incredibly wonderful technology company that will be going into a quite large premise here in Burke Street. So we've worked with them for about a part of 9 years.
Wow. And this wasn't happening 10 years ago?
Not at the City of Melbourne, no. Not within the City of Melbourne.
Right.
Invest Victoria has been around for 30 years.
What's the difference between Invest Victoria and Invest Melbourne?
The same. And so we do the same, we offer the same level of services, I would say, and we work very closely together. It's sort of a bit like the universities, they sort of compete but collaborate, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're probably more at the micro end. So, as you know, we have a team that we call Business Concierge, which are there to assist particular businesses with maybe expediting a planning permit, liquor license, the street closure permit, some general business advice. It might be a retail business, and so you'll work with clients that might be opening a cafe, whereas the state sort of looks at that and goes, well, leave that to the city. And that's our bread and butter. But equally too, we're trying to attract sales force to, expand their headcount here, Google and others, so we work the whole spectrum.
Right.
And we work very closely with our counterparts at the start.
Any practical examples of where you help new entrants come into the City of Melbourne in the retail side?
Well, if we're working with 3 or 4 of them at the moment, still sort of under the sort of confidentiality agreement, but look, one of the clients that we stopped, Jimmy Choo, you worked with our team on expediting their planning of their permit process. We'll make some announcements soon around, probably this weekend, around what we've worked with Shane Geller from Maha and assisted him through his expansion of his business and at his wonderful restaurant down at Armstrong and several others.
Yeah, no, that was a loaded question.
Yeah.
But some practical examples I've seen where retailers have issues with heritage or questions around heritage, as opposed to going through layers and layers of consultants to ask a simple question, your office was able to answer it with a phone call.
Yeah, and look, in many cases, what we do is, because you've got that IP, that knowledge, instead of a business agonising through a journey for months, let's have a chat with them and say, well, look, heritage Victoria is usually this, and this. I get the consultant to look at that as an example. Well, I was in the private sector, worked with the Coles Hybrid. I had no idea about those services and you can pay all sorts of consultants to assist. But one phone call to us or our brothers and sisters at Invest Victoria, and you can get some clarity.
Yeah.
So the journey that might have taken, a Google or an Apple 2 or 3 years, I've had in months.
Yeah, no, I've seen it firsthand. It's actually incredible what's available.
Yeah. And look, there's roughly 3,000 investment promotion agencies around the world. Either at a federal, national, or sub-national province level, or at a capital city level. And so, but of those 3,000, there's about 50, which are the main ones, and Invest Victoria is one of those. Invest Melbourne is becoming one of those. And so, the wisdom of the councillors led by Lord Mayor Sally Cap to put Invest Melbourne in place is really, pretty much delivering to a market need. The post-COVID, there's been a need to store existing businesses, grow businesses, assist those that are having problems so employment growth can occur. And so Sally, Lord Mayor Sally Cap and Deputy Lord Mayor and all the councillors got behind this initiative, just like Homes Melbourne, just like Aboriginal Melbourne, and they've got the experience and foresight to say, look, the state's doing this bit, we need a nimble, focused team that can, assist businesses now. But there's a business just up there on the corner there, the Pinot. You can see their sign.
Yeah.
And they were struggling through getting a signage package up. So we assisted them through internally, and now you can see their sign up there. And,
absolutely.
They're employing probably 45 people up there.
Yeah.
So, again, the Lord Mayor and councillors saw the need, approved budget for it. We have a whole team, 16 of us. The state has many hundreds of people doing trade investment. So we need to leverage off it.
Yeah. I've seen it firsthand, and I think the message to small business owners is there's an office and you guys are open for business and you're all about growing that.
Yeah, look, we're honest with businesses. We tell them up front whether we can help them or not.
Yeah.
And
if not, how else they could get help.
Yeah, and so, a lot of people would do a lot of triaging work where, a lot of people want some form of government grant or the like. We'll say, well, look, I don't think where you are, there's government money that may be available to you because you're still too much in the starting phase. Or, and look, government too talks with Invest Melbourne. We talk about what's called footloose investment. So it's investment that's either looking for a home in Brisbane, Sydney or Melbourne, and we're trying to present the attributes of why they should be based here in Melbourne. And back to your earlier question, why I have have some real merit there is that, run businesses, so I can very quickly say to a business, look, the reason why you should be in Melbourne, yes, we can talk about all the qualitative benefits, the notion of a sort of most liberal city and all that sort of stuff, but ultimately when it comes down to your business case, this is what you're saving.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Cost of living, utilities costs and so forth. So these are the real things, and I can tell you, Melbourne, but for a tech company, Melbourne versus Sydney, you will save on average $40,000 per job.
Wow.
Yeah, that's big bickies. Now, if you're putting on 100 people, that's $4 million in perpetuity. That's earnings accretive.
And there's better food here.
Better food and coffee.
Yeah.
No harbour though. Yeah.
No, that's okay. We got a lot of theaters.
Sure.
Melbourne has some pretty exciting forecasts. So there's a $104 billion economy back in 2019, but we're looking to have 600,000 jobs by 2031.
Yep.
270,000 residents by 2031 as well.
Yeah.
How are you looking to achieve those forecasts, and what are you doing to get to that?
Look, they're great forecasts, and I actually think those forecasts are conservative.
Conservative?
Yeah, and I think if you look in the rear vision mirror, the growth that's going on in Melbourne and Victoria is leading the country. So that by 2030, the state of Victoria will surpass New South Wales as the most greater population. And so if you look at immigration now, it's back up at 350,000. Actually, 100,000 plus are coming to land. And so I'm old enough to remember when the city was dead. And there was, I think, 800 people living in the city. And now you quote those numbers, 45% of the city's residents are students. This is a student city now. That's happened in 30 years. Postcode 3000's grew out of that. And so, and we've got 4 of the 8 Ivy League universities based right near the city. And so these things attract people to to study, to invest, to grow. And so, honestly, I think that those, if you look at all the ABS data, every census, they have forecasts and realities.
Wow.
The last 6 censuses said our projections for we're going to be here and we're here. And so developers see that, whether it's A class, B class or C class, there's a change in mix happening in the city because there's more residents. Once upon a time, there was no supermarket in town.
QV was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so now the talk is about having other services, in the city because there's so much more residents here. So, they're talking about, believe it or not, trying to get the hardware back into the city. I remember when McEwan's there was 3 or 4 McEwan's hardware stores.
Just here on Burke Street.
Here on Burke Street and others, and I got bought out by Bunnings, but there'll be a time there'll be a hardware in town, you watch.
So if you can make 3 wishes for the city of Melbourne, what would those 3 wishes be?
Extension of Fetsquare East.
Okay.
2, Green Line done and dusted, completed. But actually 3 would be surpassing 200,000 international students.
In a year.
Because prior to COVID, we were about 190,000, heading for 250. We're now back at about 135,000.
So you want to get back 200?
Plus.
Those are pretty ambitious wishes because all of them are in the making.
Yeah, well, good news, the Chinese have some sanction that told their students to come back. And see, with the international students, their families and friends come.
Yeah, of course.
It creates so much indirect opportunity.
It's a whole other economy.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah.